This video is going to cover the installation of Synergy Suspension's Jeep JK heavy duty transmission skid plate on a 2012 Jeep JK. Give everybody a close-up view of what the replacement crossmember looks like on this piece. Nothing scarier than a 6-year-old with a drill. Removed the OEM skid plate as well as the cross member that covers the exhaust cross pipe on the 2012 Jeep JK. Installation of this skid plate requires removal of 3 inches off the front of the OEM gas tank skid. Simple cut. Just going to use a grinder. The 3 inches of the OEM skid tank removed. Hit it with a little sandpaper and some touch-up paint. The piece that was taken off. Now we're ready to remove the OEM crossmember. I have removed the factory crossmember. You can see the factory mounts. Very important piece when doing this is supporting the transmission transfer case with a floor jack or something like that to keep the stress off of the drive shafts. Just for comparison, you can see the stock cross member as it compares to the replacement from Synergy. Substantially thicker and substantially heavier. Well, my helper abandoned me about halfway into the project, so about 4 hours of working by myself, and the first piece of the skid system is installed. Very solid. Got 2 flathead bolts that attach it to the stock gas tank skid, 2 bolts on each frame rail, and the 2 connector points to the crossmember mount. While threading the holes to mount the skid plate, my cheap-ass Harbor Freight tap and die decided to break on me. And then I also noticed that the ratchet that I bought from Harbor Freight as well was missing the internal piece that puts tension on the tap. So I did it the old-fashioned way, and I just used a wrench for the tap. It took a little longer than expected, but worked out just perfectly. Next piece is the rear TK skid plate. Day 2 of Synergy skid plate system install. All I have left is the oil pan skid. I've installed the brackets that attach to the driver's side. As you can see, this bracket attaches to the engine mount using one OEM bolt and one supplied grade 8 bolt. That attaches to a drop bracket that holds the skid plate itself, utilizing two supplied grade 8 bolts and hardware. My helper has decided to come back out and not so much help as play, but he's pretty handy to have around. Alright, skid plates installed, attached using two grade 8 bolts to the drop bracket, mounted to the driver's side, and two flathead bolts attached to the main skid plate. All that's left now is to attach the passenger side drop bracket. Alright, all the skids are installed. Approximate time, about 4 hours yesterday, and about 2.5 hours today. Again, pretty much by myself. I had a good helper. I will get some better pictures of this once I get it up on a lift later. And everything's torqued down to spec. Everything's got anti-seize on it. This is going to turn out to be a really crappy video because I'm just rolling around on a dolly. See the access port to the oil pan. The only two things I have left to figure out is if I want to drill and tap the bolt that goes to the stock location on the gas skid, and what I want to do with that driver's side rear bolt. I had to cut the lower portion of my Schrockworks sliders off for this one to work. So I'm in a decision point about the sliders. I do love them, so I'm probably just going to go ahead and have them welded on. But this particular bolt has an attached clip type nut on the inside of it, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get a flat bolt on that one just yet. Something I'll figure out later. Anyway, quality product. Looking forward to getting up to Roush Freak Fest 2 and seeing how she works. That's it.